Hi guys, the emerging disaster that I want to talk about today is climate change and its effect on our weather patterns. Um, Particularly, I want to talk to you guys about the recent historic flooding that just took place here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And here in Broward County, we haven't experienced this type of rain. It set all sorts of records that we haven't seen here, and it was an amazing event that took place. And so, as it relates to climate change, Professor David Kaufman talked about in one of our videos how climate change is expected to displace more than 150 million people around the world over the next 50 years. And what he talked about, particularly that relates to Fort Lauderdale's recent event, is how we would see more rapid swings between extremes in weather, such as more droughts and more flooding, which we just experienced here locally. Sea levels in Florida have risen more than 8 inches since 1950, and erosion is also an issue that is becoming a concern here in coastal Florida. And so as I go through here, I want to just show you a few pictures out of Fort Lauderdale. As you can see here on the front, the first picture is from Fort Lauderdale Airport. Fort Lauderdale Airport had to shut down for 2 days because there was so much flooding. In the last terminal in Fort Lauderdale, it was more than 3 feet of water, and people were trapped in the pickup, which is down underneath, for more than 4 hours until they were able to clear the water and get them out of there. So people saw we don't usually typically see this type of weather unless we experience a hurricane. So this is definitely something that was noteworthy. This is one of the neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale. As you can see, a lot of cars are submerged. There's a truck there trying to drive through, and this was historical flooding. And so we saw actually more than 26 inches of rain over a period of a day in Fort Lauderdale. And that is unprecedented rain, even when we talk about hurricanes. And so this is the Edgewater neighborhood where some residents were just trying to grab what they could. Some of the residents in Edgewater had as much as 36 inches of flood water in their home. Just to sum that up, that's more than 3 feet of water that they had to walk through. Some of them in their homes, there were stories of people having to climb out of their windows and try to get to safety. Um, we also saw the Melrose Park neighborhood. They ended up seeing people have to be rescued by boats. And one of the things about this particular event is that we weren't prepared for it because we weren't expecting for such an event to happen. It's not even hurricane season. This is actually still our dry season, and we weren't expecting to get hurricane type rains that cause pretty much storm surge and flooding, and that's what we got. And so uh, it's definitely an issue that we're dealing with, and we definitely weren't prepared because we're used to doing things and seeing things a certain way here in South Florida. And so this one really caught Fort Lauderdale off guard. Uh, and we're seeing some of the effects in many ways. There were people who reported to be stuck in their homes for a couple of days. There were people who were trapped in their cars, businesses, and couldn't get out of neighborhoods. Some people couldn't get out to get food or get food delivered into them. So this really was an unprecedented event. And some of the things that we dealt with were gas shortages, and we're still dealing with gas shortages actually here in Fort Lauderdale, where people are really trying hard to get out there and find gas stations that have gas. So this has been an incredible event. This is another picture of Fort Lauderdale. You can see the car submerged there in the runway where the plane is just stuck. So one of the things that we have to do, and our PowerPoint talked about that for this lesson, is getting private companies and communities together, local government together, to try to help mitigate because federal funding and things like that uh, and the response there is slowing down. In fact, FEMA is just really getting here to Fort Lauderdale to start trying to help people. It's been the local response that's gotten out there and helped people, and FEMA's just coming in. So um, this was some kind of event, and in the future we have to uh, be prepared for these events at all times and not let our guard down. Thank you.